Let's be honest, lately queues have sucked. The Bloodmoon event has made regular queues nearly unplayable, so I've been playing a lot of the event queue. And the event mode is a bit of a nightmare. Survivors can triple blood generators, blood cans, and complete them in one fill cycle if they are uninterrupted. No generator perks or killer abilities work on the blood generators either, so that's fun. But who better to flip the script and make the Bloodmoon queue a nightmare for survivors than Freddy? Ghoul, Blight, Vecna, and probably Nurse, because Oblivious and Aura Reed are both strong on her and, well, she's Nurse. But I played and won a bunch of matches last night on Freddy, since he still has many tasty Screech Cobblers left, so that's most of what I'm going to be showing. If you've played Freddy, he's great at jump scaring survivors when they are in the nightmare. But when survivors aren't taking sleepy times, I wanted him to still be a nightmare. So I decided to try out the furtive chase build put together by Aeronaut in his recent clown video, which will be linked in the description below. Without further ado, I'm going to go over how the build works. Our first perk, Furtive Chase, gives you 18 seconds of undetectable and 5% haste when you hook the obsession. The second perk, Friends Till the End, has two effects. We don't really care about the first effect. That makes it so that when you hook someone who is not the obsession is revealed. What we care about is that when we hook the obsession, a new survivor will scream, reveal their possession, and most importantly, they become the obsession. This then triggers Nemesis, our third perk, which will afflict them with Oblivious and make them visible for 8 seconds through Aura Reed. Also, Nemesis makes it so that if survivors stun you with a pallet, locker, or a flashbang, they will become the obsession. The final perk that Aeronaut ran, and that I ran for the majority of my games, was Lethal Pursuer, which does work great. However, partially due to Freddy's power being dead zoned in the new game mode, and me not running a map offering, like Aeronaut did, and just running BP instead, I often would end up in situations where the obsession would be cross-map and I would not be able to teleport anywhere near them. Also, with Lethal, if they were cross-map, it's very hard to cross-map with Freddy at the beginning because his power does not activate until a ways into the map. So instead, I started running gameafoot. This passes the obsession to the survivor with the most time in chase if you hit them with a basic attack. Basically, this allows you to always have the obsession on your first chase target. In fact, it is beneficial for you to chase someone who is not the obsession and put the obsession on them with gameafoot, as they will gain Oblivious, and you will get the Aura Reed from Nemesis, which will sometimes lead to just free hits. One of the best ways that survivors shut down this build as well is for the obsession to just ghost the killer and never let themselves be hooked. Nemesis on paper does counter this alone, because you can swing through pallets and the survivors will stun you, which will then make them the obsession, even if the current obsession is hiding in a locker or ghosting you cross map somewhere you can't reach them, or, you know, humping a strong pallet, what have you. However, in reality, stronger survivors will often just start pre-dropping once they realize that you're running this, and Nemesis won't actually pass obsession consistently, at least. Gameafoot completely shuts down this playstyle, and it forces this obsession onto the survivors that you have been chasing throughout the game. Gameafoot overall just made the build feel smoother. If you took a bad chase, you would easily be able to pass the obsession to that survivor later, especially since often you would take a bad chase against a strong survivor who would hover around other survivors, and then you could make them the obsession if they were going for a flashlight save. Overall, this build was tons of fun on Freddy, and if you've made it this far, please like and subscribe, and now let's get into the games. This game is a good example of why I switched off of Lethal Pursuer for gameafoot. because even though this gives me information that all of them are on that side of the map on RPD, you end up going that side anyways most of the time. So this was essentially useless information, and when I take the chase, it's going to be against the non-obsession, so Game of Foot would have immediately been useful. And even if I wouldn't have gotten it this hit when I downed this person, which is a little while, I think, actually. Kind of run me. They get me to broken, don't they? Anyway, oh no, they bring me out here, that's right. Oh, and then I force obsession on them, okay. So that's a good example of Nemesis forcing obsession, but I wouldn't have had to force the pallet hit, and I could have just went for the down to get the build going instead. Running Game of Foot. Anyways, we get the hook here. The person immediately quits because I denied them the pallet drop, I guess. The scream, like I can't think of any other reason they'd quit, or just because I downed them, who knows. It's DBD 2025. Anyways, we go to this gen that we just saw them complete, unfortunately. That was nice. And then I screw up the pallet, yeah. Get some Z block value here, yep. Okay. It's actually a really good map for Nemesis because survivors will often be going for stuns. This and like Bad Ham, Midwich, the very pallet heavy maps that are low on windows. I don't know why I didn't want to get stunned there. That was a really weird move by him. Like he swung way too far to avoid my snare, I mean. Do I get him here? Yeah. That was pretty much catch-22, like, yeah, look at me, I'll play the shit out of that bot. Bot never stood a chance. So I'm just repeatedly using that 10 seconds of aura read to get the people. Trying to catch their check spot. I don't know if this was a good idea though. Especially without slow, like, that's just a bad swing. Oh, then they just gift me a teleport to all the injured. Okay. Because, who knows? It's not even the bot. The bot was the one who was awake. Were they just feeding me the bot? Maybe they were feeding me the bot. Who knows? I always forget that you can't avoid the stun there. You walk along that narrow hall. Most of this is going to be cut in post-editing because that's just a whole bunch of dead time, and then we find the Fang. snare on her and then I pop her. Yeah. This was good use of the power and everything. Like, I was just actually awake for this match still. I think this is the only pre-midnight match I'm showcasing. The rest were like 12:30, and I think one was 2 a.m. or later. Okay, so I swing through the pallet to give that person obsession. Then I teleport ahead of them because I know that they're oblivious, so they have no idea where I am. So I just completely blindside them here. And that's enough to make them immediately. Yeah, they're just done at this point. That person was looking behind them the whole time. They had no clue where I was. Like, props to them for sticking it out this far. They actually reset that pallet. I didn't notice that in the game. I end up running this last survivor and letting him kind of take me cross map since he was throwing a lot of pallets, and I wanted to break pallets for my tome challenge. Nothing to do with, you know, winning the game. The game was won. Also, he gets a bunch of chase XP. Like, I let him drop chase a few times and everything, which gave him blood points. You know, 500% blood points. Might as well have everybody get something. And I kill him right at the timer, swinging through the pallet. I blew up the thing, too. I catch 22 of them anyways. On to the next. Okay, so I picked this game because this is a good example of a very bad start and then having the obsession go cross-map. So starting off here, I go for the non-obsession in the Dwight, and he takes me around Shaq essentially, and I just lose him. Like, I go right double back. What do I do here? Let's look at this quickly. He just vaulted the window and went in the locker, I think, there, and I just leave because I know he is not the obsession. As a post-edit note, he had quick and quiet and head on, which I'll also put up in the text, but that's why he actually disappeared here, is he was in the locker getting ready to stun me. And I do know that they were over here because of lethal, so that is the benefit of lethal, is that I knew that there were people here. So I just go for a new target, basically. Brings me to the junk gym, and this should be a hit. Yep, and then take her away from there. And it dead zones herself, and that's down. The big benefit here is that she did trigger Nemesis at the junk pile gym, which gave her the obsession. So now we have it on Rumble, which is the person that had lost me originally too. I actually get a good teleport on them here. I go for the other person. Ooh. Yeah, this is the problem with playing tired. I didn't quite realize how badly I stuck to the obsession in this game. That's probably why this game went so close. This tile is one of the worst in the game with that pallet up, so I'm really glad to just get that gone. Because now they've just got the two windows, which can't really be chained that well, and then, yeah, this pallet. If I can get her to throw this, that would be ideal. They just gift it to me and give me the down. Okay. So the problem here is that I have not actually hooked the person who is the obsession once, other than the Nemesis obsession. Like, I got an obsession pass mid-chase. I have managed to stick on the obsession. So there goes the obsession again. But I have someone who is injured, and we're just going to take that free down. This might have actually been risky because I think this person's still in DS range. Oh no, I haven't hooked them yet. What am I talking about? It was Voidora who I hooked. That's exactly why I took it. But, like, at this point, my build is basically doing nothing other than forcing the Dwight to stay away from me every time he's exposed. Lots of chasing going on, though, because these people just keep running into me. Slap them on the basement hook, and assuming I teleport back, yeah. Yeah, this game is a prime example of why I started running Gameafoot a couple games after this. Because, like, Voidora right now, jump on the vault is hilarious every time to me. We would have passed Obsession guaranteed at some point here, like way before now. I have not chased Rumble since the beginning of the game. We've had multiple chases on other survivors, and Rumble has had the Obsession for, I think it's 3 minutes of the game out of a 5-minute game. And so they go for the Sabble play here. They did it a bit early though, because I could still commit for this hook. They immediately unhook, and I say, okay, we're going to go for the Obsession. Who's going to head on me here? Alright, we get some Z-block value in the Aura Read. Win the 50-50. Now this should just be a hit, right? Yeah. He does not go, so he's going straight back to Shack. So I just get the free Aura Read. Oh, I play this weird. Okay. He also plays it weird, he just gives me Palette. They have left. Off to the left there, oh, I guess I'm just checking to make sure there's nobody. I've had people hovering around almost every chase, so I guess that does make sense that I'm going to check to see if someone's hovering. Guys, wondering what I'm doing there because I can see the footsteps, right? But and this person has just been hooked for the first time. And has had the Obsession for the majority of the game. Go back and count chase, but it would be like 2-3 minutes into the game, like after I dropped chase with him, because I chased him for maybe 30-40 seconds around Shack. Maybe as high as a minute, but even still, I would have easily passed Obsession to someone else. But both this game and the next one, I feel like were unnecessarily close because I was not running Gameafoot. I feel like once the teams had some inkling of it was friends and we should If we're the Obsession, we're just gonna shift WU and try to... And we know you have Aura Read. It was very hard to deal with. Pretty sure they're in a dead zone for gens too, right? Yeah, they are. Because I have that gen there, I have another one behind me somewhere, and then there's the one way off to the left. So, like, about half of the map has actual gen coverage, the rest of it is just blood gens. Just take the down here, and then we go straight for the Obsession, I'm guessing? Yeah. That's what I'd do too, past me. Drop the Obsession, pass it off, and that's all of the gens popped. We get a lucky pass on the Obsession. And this person just has no clue what's going on because the person's been... So the big benefit of running lethal and not passing it around is I don't think these people realized exactly what my build was doing until the very end game. So because I did so badly in the early game and we reached this end game stage where they had one person down, 2 people injured, even though I think they had some level of communication, it didn't matter because we started passing around Oblivious. I don't think the person realized I was passing around Aura Read. I don't think they understood what Nemesis did fully. And I thought for sure that Rumble was going to be picking up this person. But instead, I'm going to hook them, and they're just going to run out. So I just get the 3k here. I probably shouldn't have. Like, this probably should have been a win streak breaker and a tie at best. Well, I do lose the Obsession at some point in this game. This is a game that more so snowballed, and we had a lot of people on hook, kind of like the first game. But this was people who definitely knew how to loop, but everybody seemed very tired by this point in the night, so let's get into it. It can very quickly snowball out of control, so I get very quick chase on the person who is the Obsession this time. Like, I kind of locked in for this game. So they go down immediately. We go straight for the hook facing the tree. I think I'm worried about a flashlight. I believe they had some flashlights in this lobby. Most lobbies have flashlights in them these days. This person just hides back there. And that's the benefit of undetectable. He had no idea where he was. He just had to blind 50-50. Probably should have just stayed at the pallet, actually, but then I get Aura Read on him with the Dream Snare. Alright, so we pass off Obsession again. We get Aura Read on the person going for Unhook. Do I get the... Yeah, I get the Scream Interrupt, too. And then I get auto-aimed into the Sable. Oh, no. That was almost beautiful. And of course, they just get away. So we participate in some light tunneling, I suppose. Some recreational tunnelage. So now I'm just going for pressure because I know that that's a 99 gen next to the person who's down. So I can kick that. I probably will hook them anyways. Yeah, especially since there's a hook here. Oh, but I hear the person. Yeah. Yeah, so I heard their footsteps from behind the tree. Till it's late at night, I'm aiming like just a little bit in when I do these swings, and it's auto-aiming me into objects. Yeah, this is another good example of me just not being able to get to the obsession. They're cross-map again. They just popped a blood gen. I have no gen near them. I have the gen way to the left, and I have the 2 gens here that I can teleport to as Freddy. So I just go ahead and kind of snowball off of these guys. You know that the obsession is over there, running straight at me, completely oblivious to the fact that I'm swinging at them. I'm not quite sure why, actually. Did I pass them obsession? I did not, right? Oh no. Oh no, they had full like terror radius on me. They could hear me anyways. Now that we have obsession back, we can start passing it around again, I suppose. With Dark Tile. Spotted the Sable upstairs, so I'm gonna make my way up there. Yeah, so they definitely did have flashlights, as I suspected, looking back at how I was playing at the beginning, so I must have spotted that in the early lobby. They're just gonna heal there for some reason. Because, you know, reasons. And this is pretty much just a wrap from here. Like, yeah. Michaela takes a while. Brings me to some strong tiles. And the other person just kind of gets in the way at about 7:30. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to cover in this game, so I'm going to go ahead and run the rest of the game, and then I will start talking when we hit the next game. Okay, so this last game on Freddy is on Nostromo Wreckage, and this is with Gameafoot instead of Lethal Pursuer, so instead of actually knowing where they are, I'm just kind of patrolling around trying to find where the survivors spawned. Very quickly acquire the Nia, and with Game Afoot, she immediately takes Obsession when we land that M1. Good use of Z-block again. They just kind of go down instantly. Fast hook, which means that's chance pass pop super fast though. That's like a sub. God, that's like a 40-second gen or something. That's ridiculous. Okay, maybe a minute, but still. Alright, so I'm just gonna take the teleport back here since why let them heal for free, right? I guess we're going to participate in the light tunnel here. They did get Obsession again, so we're going to hook. Which will pass the Obsession to someone else, give us Undetectable and a speed boost. They give us the teleport heal again. This is kind of how the games felt more so with Game Afoot, because the big problem with the other build was that mid-chase, unless I swung through a pallet, I had no way to put Obsession on somebody. Whereas now we're just passing it around, no problem. This guy just brings me back to the hook, which is kind of an insane choice, since now I'm just going to zone the hook, right? So I know that two people had just unhooked, and I know where that guy is. So I'm just playing in between this, because I figure, yeah, they're healing around there. And the other guy had ran cross map. So now I have everybody injured again, and I'm just looking to intercept the Obsession, which I managed to do. We're going to chase him off, and he just shift W's hard. We secure a second hook state, and now I'm actually going to commit to the Obsession. So this ace actually does a pretty good loop here. Throws the pallet at a good time. This is where he made a big mistake, just running in front there, but overall great chase by Ace. They healed in the corner instead of rescuing the person. Which is really the beginning. That's the beginning of this team falling apart. The person went on first hook. The Ace brought me back there. And then they were coming in like in front of me and did not commit to the unhook and trade. Also, we managed to get a lot of value, so I know that they were around that area, and yeah, I figured they would be coming for the unhook around now, and this is the Obsession too. Engaging in some light tunneling again. That was just a complete Hail Mary shot. I'm still learning Freddy. Logic, but it seems to generally be if you shoot something up a ramp, it'll work. That's, again, insane gameafoot value, because I've chased that guy for so long. As soon as I hit him to down him, we just get him as obsession and immediately pass it again. Keeping our build going. Which gives us this haste boost, which is actually why this chase goes so badly for Laura. Is that I zoned her onto that pallet a lot quicker than I would have otherwise. I think she actually makes the window without the haste boost even. Alright, and now this Nia does the obvious counter to Friends Till the End, is that she just straight up hides in a locker. And I saw her by main earlier, but at this point she could practically be anywhere, right? Like, I know she was at main when Laura was by the pallet, but that's a long time ago. That was like a minute by the time she entered the locker or something. Never, I spot her through that window right there. Which is really unlucky for her. I get the injury, then I figured I'd let Furtive Chase do the pass-off job here, since, you know, might as well get perk value, right? It looked like they wanted to get the unhook anyways. Let them unhook, they instantly get Obsession from Furtive Chase. Then we hook them, which then gives us Undetectable and Haste again. I'm pretty sure the Laura actually spotted me at that checkpoint, which is well done by them. I played this really badly until the end, too. Like, the Z block hits are nice, but I probably should have just broken one of these pallets, maybe. On second thought, I probably should have actually just saved the dream pallet or replaced it in the middle, so she could have never made it to here. On the other hand, I'm just slowly zoning her towards nothing in this corner, so... Anyways, that's the last match with the full build. I'll definitely be trying this one again. Hope you enjoyed.